Hey there, I'm estate planning attorney Paul Rabalais, and in this video we're going to talk about what in the world the phrase per Stirpes means. Okay, so at some point during your lifetime you'll come across some paperwork that likely has the phrase per Stirpes in there, and maybe you're filling out your own estate paperwork, or maybe a loved one or a parent or grandparent passed away, and in reviewing their paperwork you see the phrase per Stirpes. And I know many of you out there watching this video, you'll struggle with that because, quite frankly, it's not even an English term, it's a Latin term. And I'm going to go on a little rant here, and this doesn't apply to all of you, but I know many of you struggle with the English language based on what I read into many of the comments of these and other videos that I read. Boy, I see a lot of people just, all caps. Grammar, punctuation is awful, spelling just atrocious. I can't imagine you'd understand what a Latin term would mean, much less an English term. So now many of you out there, really great with your comments, with your questions, but I will say one way to kind of guarantee that you're not going to get a response from me is if you just kind of butcher and kind of vomit on the page, and just spelling, punctuation, capitalization is atrocious. So if you can, as a favor to me, just try to clean up, those comments. It's easier for me to respond. Okay, so now back to the subject at hand. What does per Stirpes mean? So you might see that phrase in a will. You might see it in a trust. Maybe you might see it as part of a IRA or retirement account beneficiary designation form. Might see it on a life insurance beneficiary designation form. You may see it on a TOD, transfer on death, POD, payable on death designation form. So just to get right into it, and then we'll give you a good example. Per Stirpes, it's kind of translated into meaning by branch or by root or by representation. Let me give an example. Let's say Grandpa dies, leaving his $2 million estate, and he left a will, and in his will he said, I leave my estate to my descendants per Stirpes. And you might review that, and it's funny when I see people look at that, they're like, so Mr. Rabalais, what's this? Is it per Stripes or per Stirpes? So it's pronounced per Stirpes. What does it mean? All right. So let's go back to Grandpa's example. Grandpa died, $2 million estate. In his will said, I leave my estate to my descendants per Stirpes. Who gets his $2 million? Well, we got to look at Grandpa's family tree. So Grandpa has or had two children. Let's call them Thing 1 and Thing 2. Thing 1 had 4 children. Thing 1A, Thing 1B, Thing 1C, and Thing 1D. Thing 2 had 2 children. Thing 2A and Thing 2C. Now, if the natural thing happens and Grandpa dies and Grandpa is survived by his 2 children, Thing 1 and Thing 2, then Thing 1 and Thing 2 will each get 50% of Grandpa's $2 million. They'll each get $1 million. So if all of the children survive, the children share equally in Grandpa's estate. But this designation of I leave it to my descendants per Stirpes has significant effect if one or more of the children die before or predecease Grandpa. So let's say that happens. Let's say Thing 1 died before Grandpa. And then when Grandpa dies with his will, leaving his estate to his descendants per Stirpes, and he has $2 million, who gets the $2 million? Well, because he left his estate to his descendants per Stirpes, and because Thing 1 had predeceased Grandpa, the portion that would have gone to Thing 1 would go to Thing 1's 4 children equally. So of that $2 million, Thing 1's 4 children would each get $250,000, and Thing 2 would still get Thing 2's $1 million. So Thing 1's children would step in and represent Thing 1 under that scenario. Now, keep in mind, when Grandpa left his estate to his descendants per Stirpes and Thing 1 predeceased Grandpa, Thing 1's portion does not go to Thing 1's spouse, as many people inquire. the portion thing one would have received does not go to the people that thing one had listed in his or her will. The portion that would have gone to thing one does not go to thing one's stepchildren. So it only goes to thing one's children, those children who were born to or adopted by thing one, which is different than stepchildren of thing one. And then maybe if we take it a step further, let's say thing one had predeceased grandpa. Let's change the facts. Thing one did not have any children, and he predeceased grandpa. Well, then grandpa died. Thing two would have received the entire $2 million. Again, thing one's spouse, would not have received anything. So next time you see that phrase, I leave to my descendants per Stirpes, you'll know what it means. There's a few other phrases I want to go over in other videos. One phrase I want to really kind of jump on right now is a phrase called smash the like button, because that helps the YouTube algorithms. And then also make sure, if you haven't already, hit the subscribe button and the notification bell. That way you won't miss anything as I keep creating these estate planning educational videos. And I hope you're enjoying them half as much as I'm enjoying making them. We'll see you next time.